Hello again, and welcome to day 3 of week 12 of year 3 of the Religious Education Initiative. We are continuing our way through the Sermon on the Mount this week, and we begin today the last of the 3 chapters that contain this sermon. Last time, we saw the Lord teach his disciples to turn away from earthly treasures and even to esteem food and clothing and other such necessities of life less than the kingdom of heaven, assuring them and us that if we will seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, all that we need will be given to us as well. This time we will see the Lord continue to teach, proceeding to what may seem to be miscellaneous lessons about life in this world as citizens of the kingdom of heaven. So, chapter 7. Do not judge, so that you may not be judged. For with the judgments you make, you will be judged, and the measure you give will be the measure you get. Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbor, let me take the speck out of your eye, while the log is in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. Do not give what is holy to dogs, and do not throw your pearls before swine, or they will trample them under their feet, and turn and maul you. Ask, and it will be given you. Search, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened for you. For everyone who asks receives, and everyone who searches finds, and for everyone who knocks the door will be opened. Is there anyone among you who, if your child asks for bread, will give a stone, or if the child asks for a fish, will give a snake? If you, then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask him? In everything, do to others as you would have them do to you, for this is the law and the prophets. Enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road is easy that leads to destruction, and there are many who take it. For the gate is narrow and the road is hard that leads to life, and there are few who find it. Now, as we said, this may seem just to be sort of miscellaneous pieces. They don't feel directly connected, and it may well be, because we know that the Lord was actually speaking for hours, and while the Sermon on the Mount is long, it certainly doesn't provide us a transcript of hours' length. Matthew is certainly excerpting the most important pieces. But these do fit within the general thrust, the general narrative, the general flow of what the Lord has been saying. He's commanded us to choose the kingdom of heaven over the kingdoms of this world, and then he immediately speaks about not judging, recognizing that this is what we do. If we have chosen a good path, we immediately start to lord it over those who have not. We immediately will start to criticize them, to judge them, to hold ourselves to be better than them. And he says not to judge, and he gives 2 reasons. The first reason, the core reason, is because if we judge, we invite judgment upon ourselves. And however we judge others, in the same way, the Lord will judge us. Which is to say, we have control over how God will judge us by the way that we treat one another now. That is a tremendously remarkable and amazing statement. And then the Lord gives another reason. He says, effectively, how do we have any business judging? Because we ourselves are still living in sin ourselves. So how can we see clearly to judge or criticize or even help our brother or sister when we ourselves are blind because of our own sins and struggles? But even if we could, in theory, become free of our own sins and struggles, we are still called not to judge, because we will be judged in the same measure that we will. In the same measure that we judge, we will be judged ourselves. The point here is we should be merciful, we should be gracious, we should love one another and not hold ourselves better than one another. We should mention briefly this piece of ask and search and knock, because this is again a remarkable assurance. The Lord is telling us that He is not far away from us. He is not distant from us. That all we need to do is ask for help, and we will receive it. That all we need to do is seek for His goodness, and we will find Him. That all we need to do is knock on the door, and He will open to us and invite us in to be with Him. If you recall what St. Dionysius the Areopagite said a few weeks ago, God is always present to us. We are not always present to Him. And in this asking and searching and knocking, this is how we turn our hearts to the Lord, toward the Lord, and make ourselves present to Him, asking Him to be present to us, although He already is. But in asking Him, we open our lives to Him. So, and then the final point, it is very, very easy to find a wrong path. It is not particularly easy to find the right path, but the Lord shows us the way and invites us to enter at the narrow gate and the hard and narrow road that leads to life. May we be blessed to find it and to walk the path of salvation. God bless you all. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.